As a leader, I know you feel it's important to be creative and bring fresh ideas, but many times it's easy to get stuck in the status quo and not have that creativity or those fresh ideas. The challenge with being stuck in the status quo, that it can have a negative impact on your team's performance because nobody's bringing anything new to the table. And you as a leader can also get stuck in doing things the same way that they've always been done, producing the exact same result, when you know that the way things were yesterday is not how they are today, and they definitely won't be how they are tomorrow. So if you continue to do the same things, you will find less and less success as a leader. And the challenge with this and leading a large team and leading in large organizations is that so many of us are wedded to doing the same things over and over again. And doing the same things don't allow us to overcome the new challenges that we face. I mean, just look at the American healthcare system right now. We have an old, archaic model of how we delivered healthcare. And when the pandemic hit, it made it impossible to keep doing the same thing the same way we've always done it. And so some organizations innovated greatly and they're navigating the pandemic well, but other organizations are struggling. They're losing staff, they're laying people off. Some of them are even closing their doors because they were not ready. That means they didn't have enough leaders who were creative and had fresh ideas to figure out what to do next. So here's what I like to do is I want to help you to be more creative as a leader. I want to help you to figure out how you get those fresh ideas so you can keep innovating, transforming, and growing as a leader, but more importantly, putting your organization and your team in a position they can find success because everybody is thinking about innovation. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to be more creative, you got to tap into a network of people who do creative things. So when I say tap into a network, I'm going to ask you this question, and I've asked it before. Are you a member of any professional association? If you are not a member of your professional association, you're stifling yourself with the opportunity to be creative. See, at the professional association level is where people have meetings and they share ideas, and you learn from other people who are doing the things that you want to be doing, or maybe they're doing things that you never heard of, but they've implemented them with success. And the only way you'll find that out is by being a member of the professional association. But wait, you can't just be a member. You actually have to go to the meetings and the conferences. If you are a member of a professional association and you don't go to the conferences, if you don't go to any of the annual meetings or sit into any of the regional or local meetings, you're wasting money being a member of the association just to have something on your resume. When if you want to be a creative leader, you got to get in the room with people. You got to jump on the Zoom with people or the Teams or whatever way that they're now doing the conference in this post-pandemic world. You have to be a part of it. You got to participate and be active, because that's where you're going to learn new tips, new techniques, new ideas, new things that you can be doing with your team inside of your organization. That is joining your professional association and also participating in your professional association. Now, here's a third way you can be more creative and find fresh ideas to solve the challenges that you face. And that is inside of the team that you lead. And what do I mean inside the team that you lead? I'm pretty certain that everyone that works for you sees problems differently than you see them at your leadership level. They also see opportunities that you don't see at your leadership level. So my question is, when is the last time that you sat down and asked your team members for ideas for things that you could be doing better? If you're not doing this on a daily basis or a weekly basis, you're failing and you're stifling as a leader. So you got to get to a place where you say, hey, if you were me, what's one thing you would change about how we do business today? And if you ask every person on your team and every person that reports to somebody on your team, you would begin to build an unending list of ideas and things that you need to look at changing and evaluating. And when you pick out something to look at and change, Then you should have the next thing, which is a brainstorming session with your team to talk about the problem and what we could do to overcome the challenge. And so you got to be creative by asking the people that you lead for their opinions and their advice. And then when they come up with a strategy and they give you something to do, then try it. The key to creativity and innovation is trying new things. And whether they succeed or not, you want to try again. The key is not only having ideas, but to implement those ideas. So you got to get those ideas from your team. Now, the third thing that I'm going to tell you to do to be creative is something unique, okay? There's a book that I read, and the book was one of the most phenomenal books that I read about creativity. And the title of the book is called Steal Like an Artist, like literally steal like an artist. And here's what they said in the book, and I thought it was so powerful, that all great art today is just a interpretation or a copy of something else that came before it. And I really started to think about that, because if you think about any great music group, you think about any great song artist whatsoever, they didn't come up with their original songs out of the gate when they started singing. They started singing by singing the songs of other artists. Like, I remember watching this documentary about Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. And they showed these home movies of Michael Jackson when he was just 6 years old. And at 6 years old, he didn't have his albums, he didn't have his songs, he didn't know Berry Gordy, he didn't have a record deal, he didn't have any of those things at 6. But what his family did have was James Brown's records. And little Michael would stand in the living room with his brothers and sing and dance to James Brown's records. He would try to imitate James Brown's movements. He would try to copy James Brown's splits and his kicks and his slides, and everything that James Brown did, Michael Jackson copied that at 6 years old. And so over time, he went from doing exactly what James Brown did to adding his own little element into it. So much so that he became one of the world's greatest entertainers. And you will call Michael Jackson one of the most distinct entertainers that ever lived. But a lot of his signature moves were interpretations of other artists, like his famous moonwalk that everybody saw him do on the Motown 25th anniversary. Well, anybody who knows hip hop music and culture will tell you that Michael Jackson did not invent the moonwalk, that he got that from some pop locker breakdancers in California that taught him how to do the moonwalk, and he introduced it to the world. So my point to you is, if you want to become more creative, you got to find some artists to imitate. And I would encourage you to get that book, Steal Like an Artist, and do all of the exercises that's listed in the book. Come up with some creative ways to find leaders who are doing some innovative things and see what you can steal like an artist. That's how you bring creative ideas to the table, and it will help you to be more impactful as a leader. I want to thank you for watching. Please like, share, and comment on this video if it added value to you. Have a great day.